What's up guys, welcome back. Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. There's nothing healthy about this recipe I'm gonna show you today, but it's absolutely delicious. I was in New York recently and I had the best French toast I've ever had in my life. It was stuffed with cream cheese, rolled in cornflakes and deep fried, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do for you guys today. But before we get into the recipe, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right guys, meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen. First things first, let's take a look at these ingredients. Today we have 4 eggs. We're gonna mix that with some heavy cream and a few other ingredients to make our custard. The star of the show is this beautiful loaf of brioche bread. This is what they use at the restaurant I had it at, but you can use whatever you like. I do suggest this though if you can find it. We got strawberry cream cheese. We got some fresh strawberries. Of course, you gotta have some butter. We got 3 different sugars here. We got brown sugar, white sugar, and powdered sugar. We got some nutmeg, some vanilla extract, some cinnamon, and we gotta go with the cornflakes today. All right guys, so we have 2 blocks of strawberry cream cheese at room temperature. In a mixing bowl to that, we're gonna add a half stick of melted butter. And we're gonna start adding in our powdered sugar as we beat this. Think of this as almost like a cream cheese icing recipe, basically. Obviously, there's a couple ingredients that aren't traditional in that, but that's kind of the concept you want to think about as you're making this filling. A little melted butter. We're gonna add a little heavy cream to thin things out, and then our powdered sugar to sweeten it up a bit. So real simple, just a few ingredients. The strawberry cream cheese is absolutely delicious in this recipe, but you can use another flavor if you want. We're going to do a strawberry compote to go with it, tie everything together nicely. But you basically want it nice and smooth like you see right here. Like I said, almost like an icing consistency. That's going to go into the piping bag nicely and fill out your loaf nicely as well. So that's what you want to see. So after you dice up your strawberries, we're just going to add them to a nice sauce pot. Gonna make a real simple compote here, guys. It's basically just our berries along with a little bit of cognac or bourbon that's optional. You guys know me, I'm gonna slip a little booze in if I can. We're gonna add white and brown sugar and just bring that to a simmer and allow it to reduce. It's gonna make a beautiful strawberry compote to go on top of this French. All right, so here we have about a full cup of diced strawberries. To that, we're gonna add about a half cup of white sugar and about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We're just gonna let the natural juice and the natural water kind of expel from the strawberries. It's gonna create almost like a glaze with that sugar, as you can see already developing in the skillet or the pan, pot, whatever you wanna call it. It's gonna work this over medium-low heat and just allow it to reduce. Towards the end, we'll add in a little bit of cognac or bourbon if you want to kick up the flavor a little bit. Allow that to cook off. You're gonna have a nice compote on your hands. You can add a little citrus to this, a little lemon juice, orange zest, something like that to brighten it up, which we'll do at the very end as well. So now that we have the strawberries cooked down, we're gonna use what's called a slurry to thicken things up a little bit. A slurry is just equal parts cornstarch to water. We're gonna add that in and you'll see it start to thicken up nicely. All right, so one of the stars here is the cornflakes. As you can see, we have like basically a cornflake breadcrumb. I also like to use my hands to get some coarse cornflakes in there too for texture. So I like to use a mix. Use the food processor and your hands. A little bit of both. Best of both worlds. And just kind of mix it together. And that's going to be our breading. Just to season it up a little bit, we're going to hit with some cinnamon sugar. Make sure we have those French toast flavor profile throughout the dish. A couple teaspoons of that. Then just kind of get in there with your hands and work that in. That's what you want to see. A couple different textures in there. It's going to fry up real nice. All right, so for our custard, guys, we got a large mixing bowl here, 4 eggs. I'm going to break out the whisk. Beat them like they stole something. Then we're going in with about a cup of heavy cream. Stretch things out because we know eggs are expensive. And then we're also going in with a cup of brown sugar. Whisk all that together. Then we're coming with a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Some nutmeg and some cinnamon. Can't forget a good pinch of salt. Whisk all that together, and that'll be when we roll our brioche loaf in. All right, guys, these are gonna be pretty big servings, so we're gonna cut this loaf into thirds, just to make sure we got some adequate space to fill it and fry it. So about like so. We're gonna hollow this part out right there in the middle. All right, look, I'm gonna apologize in advance if this is a little graphic. All jokes aside though, the best way to do this is just get in there with your finger and hollow it out. Make sure that there's enough space in there for your piping bag to go in there and fit in as much cream cheese as your heart desires. You don't want to go all the way through though, so you just want to build like a little pocket. All right, so we got our piping bag full of that cream cheese deliciousness, and then we're just going to deposit that right in the center of our brioche. Just like so. Let's do that for each of your loaves. The perfect amount. All right, guys, so as you can see, we're adequately filled on the brioche bread here. The next key here, being that this is a pretty large piece of bread, is you want to give it a few seconds to really soak up that custard on each side, about like so. Just keep rolling it around until it absorbs all of that moisture. Very important for your French toast. As you can see, we got perfect color there. You can see the cinnamon, you can see the sugar. Just keep rolling it around until it's nice and saturated. So after a few seconds of having some time to soak up that custard, we're gonna knock off any excess, and then we're rolling right on in to those cornflakes. Now, if you want to be a little smarter than me, you could probably use a bigger bowl. But hey, we're making it work, right? So the key here at this point is you really want to make sure that that entry point for your cream cheese is adequately filled. So ideally, it's a situation where you won't even really know which end you did pipe in the cream cheese. That way, it all stays in there when it's time to fry. We don't got any bald spots. Knock off any excess cornflakes. And we're just gonna place that on a baking sheet to hang out for a few minutes until it's time to drop it in the oil. All right, guys, so once that oil hits 350 degrees, we're gonna gently place in our beautifully stuffed brioche loaf that's been rolled in cornflakes. Man, it doesn't get much better than this, guys. You want to use something like a spider or some sort of tongs or something like that to kind of press it down to make sure that it's getting good, coverage, because it has a tendency to float. So you do want to, kind of babysit it a little bit, roll it around, make sure it's cooking evenly. One of the most important things is just to make sure that that hole where you piped in the cream cheese, once it starts to fry, it'll get crispy. You don't have to worry about it leaking out. So just make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye out for that. But other than that, guys, this stuff fries up really quickly, nice and easy. It's gonna have a beautiful golden brown color because of those cornflakes. Doesn't take a whole lot of time either, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Just roll it around occasionally. You probably want to use a deep fryer like this. You don't really want to shallow fry this. I know that's super healthy, I'm sorry. I told you at the beginning though. Just look how we're looking. So after about 2 minutes, this is how we're looking. Depending on your oil temperature and depending on how crowded your skillet or your fryer is, it may take you a little bit longer. 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 4 at the most is all you're gonna need. I'm gonna pop that bad boy over there to drain. All right, so for plating, we're gonna use a flat white plate like this one here. We're gonna take some of that strawberry compote, go right down in the center. Make a little nest for our French toast to rest upon. Once we got that laid down, we're coming in with our beautifully fried, crispy French toast. And then we're gonna do a nice little dollop of that strawberry compote right on top. Make sure you get some drippage over the sides. Don't be shy. Then we're coming down with the powdered sugar snow flurry. Garnish. A little whipped cream. Find your prettiest sprig of mint and plant your little flag like so. There you have it, folks. You can hit it with a little maple syrup. Shouldn't need a whole lot more than that. This is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in here for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. You guys know me. You guys know me, I'm going down with a little maple syrup because why the hell not? We're here for a good time, not a long time. Oh boy. All right, guys, moment of truth. I hated I have to try this, but you know, part of the job.